Dr. Agin is going to be sharing how to grow your functional medicine practice. Jamie's going to share some of her experience with MPC and what she has done with Priority U. And I will let them handle all of the details around that. But thank you so much for coming. We will have this recorded and we'll be sending it out after the call so that you can recap. You can go back and review it or share it with anyone else that might be interested. All right, Dr. Agin, take it away.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you everybody for your time. As the title says, we're talking about ways to grow functional medicine practice, especially a cash-based practice, and looking at some of the benefits and some of the opportunities we have in this type of medicine. It's something I'm really passionate about. We can go to the next slide. So just some real quick background on myself. I am a functional medicine physician. I've been practicing for 23 years. I have been doing this from day one. I have never practiced in a traditional medicine practice, so it's kind of unique that I was able to move into this space at such an early age. And now, I'm passionate about helping other physicians and providers get into this type of medicine and really, highlight and showcase all of the different benefits and then provide tools for people to get to kind of fast forward themselves into practice. That's the biggest obstacle is when we train physicians, is that they don't jump in. There's a disconnect between the information that they get and how they can apply that into clinical practice. And so that's going to be kind of the highlight of what we talk about, trying to get people to move and get aggressive into to making the transition. So hopefully we can give everybody some tools. Just understand and bear with me. We have people from all different all different parts of their practice journey. So we have people that are just starting out. We have some that are in a hybrid model where they're doing some cash-based medicine and some insurance medicine, and then we have some that are all cash-based already. So we're hoping that this can provide some tips to get people that are playing around with the idea to jump in, ones that are still involved with insurance, some ways that they could maybe break free completely, and then obviously the people that are fully integrated, some ways that they can better their practice and maybe some tools on what's to come, some modalities that they could add into their practice. And Jamie, next slide. And Jamie, the co-founder of MyPractice, has also been practicing functional medicine for 15 years. She's pretty much put most of her career time into aesthetics now, but still is a huge help in the MyPractice side because she's the one managing the practice with her practice manager and using the MPC application to manage the revenue to make sure that our practice is efficient. And that's going to be the last slide. So let's get started. So the objectives are is cash-based medicine right for you? Again, we have some people that are just getting started in this, so we'll go through those slides very quickly. What functional medicine represents, benefits of cash-based medicine, ways to approach integration or model shift, and how MPC platform can support the process. So next slide. So the decision filter. So this is important. This is something that I came across in my first year of residency, but this is really where you start to decide where you're at and where you want to go. And this is what you can't change anything without changing your mind. So you have to be mentally prepared to move into cash-based medicine and away from traditional philosophies. So these are just some filters for you guys to look at. Do you still feel that your purpose in medicine and your motivation to go to work is intact? Are you looking for something different? Do you feel like there's something more out there for you to be investigating? Are you upset with revenue? Are you wanting more control? Are you sick of the insurance-based model that holds your money hostage? Time and workflow. Are you wanting to set your times? Are you sick of having being on call or taking calls on the weekend or opening your office on times you don't want to? Philosophy of health. A lot of times as this journey goes on, people get into medicine and next thing you know, they're all of a sudden, they go to a functional medicine doctor and all of a sudden they see things completely differently. I also look at COVID, during the COVID years. I think during that time there was a very big exposure of our society's health. but also our vulnerabilities. And during that time, I believe there was a momentum shift that we've been waiting for. It was slow before, but during COVID, it seems like there was a little bit quicker jump where people started looking at cash-based medicine as actually an option for them. And so that was kind of nice for us in functional medicine to see how this could become an opportunity going forward. What is the type of patient relationship you're looking for? You know, are you interested in actually being able to know and understand what your clients are coming for? You're sick of just having to run in and out of the office and always feeling rushed. Professional identity and growth. You know, who are you trying to be? You know, what is the ideal medicine that you're trying to practice, and what do you want to establish for both now and the future? And then market forces and future trends is, where is medicine going? And as I said, during COVID, there's been a lot of change. There's a lot of interest into various into peptides, into HRT, now that the Women's Health Initiative was looked at again and redacted. You know, looking at psychedelic medicine, which is becoming very relevant. And so there's just a lot of opportunities. And so providers have to look at these. And if you're looking at any of these and saying, you know what, I've thought a lot about any of these components, that makes it very obvious that you could be looking towards making a shift into checking out some other areas of medicine that's considered alternative. So what is functional medicine? I think that most people know. I'm not going to go into the details of it. But what we really are looking at is, when we talk about functional medicine, we're talking about wellness, nutrition, and prevention, not just acute care pharmacology and procedural medicine. We're looking at health creation, not disease management. We're looking at homeopathic, chiropractic, integrative approaches, not just traditional philosophies. And the neat thing is that the gap between traditional and functional medicine is narrowing. We're starting to find, it's not that we don't believe in medicine and the science, it's just that it's evolving. We're getting new tools, we're getting new opportunities, we're understanding that there are other ways to look at medicine and other ways that we can look at solutions. So it's just a good time to be entering into this space. Next slide. The psychology of cash. So when we look at right at the beginning, it says perception drives payment and retention. And that's exactly the case here. So when we start getting into cash, you have to start looking at what motivates you when you're spending your money. There's a lot of ways we can look at this, but initially it's there's no more default loyalty. When you're in traditional philosophies and insurance-based medicine, people are loyal to the doctors because that is what insurance drives. It makes you basically stuck into the system where you go to your doctor because that is what your insurance is driving you to do. You go there because that's where your copay is going to cover. That's where some insurances won't allow you to go to other providers. So even though these patients are not happy with their primary doctors or these providers that they're told to go to, they don't really switch away from it. So there's still this loyalty in the system that they just keep going to the same doctors year after year, even though they're complaining about the office or the physician or the office staff. They just keep going back over and over and over again. So default loyalty is now gone when you go into cash-based medicine, and it's earned loyalty. And that's the way it should be. That's what we want to be in medicine. We want to be responsible for delivering good care. We don't want people coming to us just because they have to come to us. So there's a shift. It's now, is this covered? No, it's now shifting to, is it worth it? And this is the cash mentality. So again, you have to present them with a value, and this is what is going to drive them coming in, and it's going to keep them coming back. So you go to how valuable they perceive the outcome to be, and how confident are they in you delivering it. So this is where you'll hear me in the upcoming slides talking about, you have to practice what you preach. When people are paying cash, a great example is if someone's going to lose weight and they go in and the weight loss provider is 150 pounds overweight, there is a problem with that. That perceived value goes down immediately. Their confidence drops. So in this type of medicine, you have to provide a perceived value. And it's a great thing, but it's a completely shift from a regular practice model to a cash-based model. And you have to understand that, because every time they walk in your door and they're paying cash, everything, they're looking at everything. I use a great example is if you take your car to a dealership to get fixed, sometimes they wash your car for it. They say they detail it, but they wash it for it. And it comes out and it's clean, but it's not detailed. Now, if you went somewhere, but that was part of the service. But if you went somewhere to get your car detailed, you're going to look at every part of that car's cleaning and you're going to find, hey, you guys didn't do my wheels. Hey, you didn't do the inside. That's what you paid for and that's what you expect. So that's the same thing of cash mentality is that when they come in their office, they're going to start looking at things differently than they did when they were stuck into a system sending them there. So just understand that. How clearly you communicate transformation, not just the treatment. They want the vision, they want the promise, they want they want to see and feel what you are going to do for them. So perceived value brings them in, experience value keeps them in. So it's a completely different mindset. Next slide. So once you take insurance out of the picture, everything changes. Just imagine that. Imagine you not having to worry about sending everything through insurance, wondering if you put the right ICD-9 codes on. And usually that's not you, that's someone else in your office that's managing that. So now you're sitting there looking at all of these different things that could go wrong just for you to collect your money. Now you're shifting to, you see the people on the left. Now you're shifting to a partnership. People want to come in and see you. They're motivated. They want to get the most out of their investment. It's a completely different shift in what we're used to in traditional medicine. Next slide. So the two mindsets are insurance-based care is what will insurance cover? Cash-based care, what do I truly need? So once they start spending money, they start really thinking about what they need. In insurance-based medicine, it's reactive. If they're sick, hey, I got insurance. I'm going to go see that. Hey, I got it. I can get this done on myself. I'm going to go set up an appointment to do that. But when you're saying reactive, this is they wait until they absolutely need something and they respond to that. In cash-based care, people are spending money. They're going to be much more proactive. They're actually going to be looking at how, if they're spending their money, what are they going to get out of that money they spent? So now you have people wanting to prevent disease. They're actually wanting to make their appointments. It's not as easy. It's not as common for these people to cancel appointments, miss appointments, because now this is their hard-earned cash that is speaking, not this insurance that has this grasp on them to where they get sick, they go in. And the idea of prevention and health creation is not even a thought or consideration. Cost focused, as we said, everything's about, does my insurance cover it? What is my copay? Is the insurance going to cover these prescriptions? And if they don't, maybe I don't need it. Whereas when you get into cash-based medicine, it's value focused. Everything's about perceived value, as we said on the last slide, is if there's something that you're going to get out of this and your cash can pay for it, then you can feel that it's something that you want to move forward with. Sickness model, wellness model is, again, we're going to root cause. We're trying to find out what is the cause of these symptoms, not just simply putting Band-Aids on them. Or the symptom suppression model. Next slide. So the ownership effect, when patients pay out of pocket, they own their outcomes. And this is where they're vested, they have skin in the game. And this is the beautiful thing about cash-based medicine is because you're going to get most of your clients that want this value. They want to get out what they put in. They're coming in and they already have made a decision. They're in the door. Now they're basically basing everything on how they feel and the function that they get, not on diagnostics and not on billing codes. They become brand advocates, which becomes the best word of mouth marketing for you guys. So just remember, every single outcome that you have is going to go tell someone else about their experience, whether it's something that someone else recognizes or these people are so excited about their actual participation in the care. Either way, they're going out there and talking about their experience and bringing new clients to you. That's why you're so vested in the results. And as providers, that's what we came into medicine for. We wanted to fix people. We wanted to help people. We wanted to change people's lives. And when you're in traditional medicine, that goes out the window. You don't have the time. You start just getting into where you're going in, seeing as many people as you can. How can you get them out of the office as fast as you can? You're trying to avoid them in the waiting room. You don't want to run into people out in public. All you want to do is go in, practice medicine, get away. You don't care about these people or I shouldn't say that, care about them. It's just you don't have the same relationship. In a cash-based ownership model, these people are people that are excited to come in and see you, and you're excited to see them. You're excited to see the results. They're excited to show you the results. That is something I look forward to running into people in the grocery store, in restaurants, in the lobby, in the waiting room. I can't wait to say hi to them. I can't wait to, some of them want to give you hugs. Completely different shift when people are vested into their care. So, and the other big thing about it, it doesn't matter if they fail. So remember, if you give them a value, it doesn't matter if they fail because they're not going to blame you. They already established that you gave them a value and they paid for it. If they fail and you deliver what you said you're going to deliver, they're blaming themselves. They're still going to come back to you. So now they're paying cash. And even if they don't get the result that they want, they're still going to come back to you and they're still going to do it again because they're not blaming you because you did what you're supposed to do. And as long as we deliver results and we give them that value that they paid for, they're not going to blame you if they fail. And again, in functional medicine, we give them pathways that are successful and resolved. So that's the neat thing about this as well is that you really get good partnerships and people really do understand what the goals are and what you're trying to accomplish and don't blame you if things don't go exactly right. They realize this is a process and they realize that we're both working for the same common goal. Next slide. So this again is the shift from transactional into transformational care, insurance, 7-minute visits, and now just imagine having 60 minutes of time to talk to your patients. This is something that changes everything. Is just having time. I can't tell you how exciting it is to just sit down in the room and not be looking at my watch or wondering what time I have to leave the office. Everybody knows this. All of the patients in traditional medicine knows this is it. You're going to go into the office. Chances are you're going to wait. When you do get into the office, chances are you're going to have to, you're not going to get a lot of time with the physician. You're going to have to be quick in what you say, and you know you're going to get a quick response and a quick solution. And when you're doing things in the average of a 7-minute visit, you know you're not getting a complete look at what your problems were, and you're not getting a complete look at what your solutions are. I already mentioned symptom suppression. In insurance care, they're just putting band-aids on. They're looking at the opportunity to suppress the symptoms, but they're never looking at what actually caused them. And then on documentation driven, I put that on the one slide. We didn't get into medicine to just, fill out forms, to write prescriptions all day long, every day, and not have the time to actually talk to our patients. And pharmaceutical dominant, we know that the industry is dominated by pharmaceuticals. So in a cash care business, we're trying to avoid pharmaceuticals and we're focusing on all of their money going towards lifestyle and going towards therapies that are going to improve or find out what the root cause is and actually fix things. So next slide. So patient expectations, they're not buying medicine, they're buying an experience. And this gives you the opportunity, like I said, this is where you have to expect that patients are going to want access, they're going to want attention, and they're going to want results. This is the same thing that we would do if, us as physicians go to see doctors, we want the same thing. And yes, providers a lot of times give professional courtesy, and they might give you more time than the average patient. But when you don't get that experience, like I've gone to doctors for various things and I got to be the patient in an insurance driven insurance driven medical practice, and it's not nice, it's not fun. And all I said when I got out of there is, well, I'm not doing that again. And then you have people like Joe Rogan, an influencer who says that they will never go to another primary care doctor ever because they went to someone else in functional medicine and actually got the time, actually had things explained, actually got resolution. So when you know that this is out there and this is what people are talking about, you have to look at that decision filter on where you are in your medical journey and where you want to be and what would you expect for yourself, and think, are you delivering exactly what you expect for yourself? And if you're not, it sounds like you should probably look at changing that, because again, we should not be delivering healthcare if we don't believe in the philosophy. We appreciate transparency and simplicity. Money's much easier when you're doing cash. It's you put a menu board up. This is what my value is. This is what you pay, and this is what you get. It's not where people get an insurance response and it says, "Oh, I didn't know I had acute kidney disease." Well, that's what the doctor billed. We don't know if you really have it, and they go back into their doctor and say, "Well, I don't have acute kidney disease." And they said, "Well, because of these two things, you actually do." And it's because this is what doctors have to do because it's so hard to navigate insurance billing to get the money that you deserved with trying to navigate through all these insurance codes and diagnostic codes. It just becomes very hard, and doctors even get into trouble when they don't even know what they're getting in trouble for because it's so complicated. It's not supposed to be that difficult. Want a frictionless, modern experience. So when people pay cash, they want to get the cash experience. It's as I said, when you get your car detailed, they want that car coming out beautiful. So when people pay cash, they're not wanting to go in and have the same experience that they did in traditional medicine. They don't want to wait for an hour. They don't want only 7 minutes of your time. They want to pay for cash. They want to get what they're paying for. And that means you have to give them what they're paying for. Same thing that you would expect with your money. So this is where you get to change your model, change how your office runs, change how your office dresses, change the way you approach your patients. Everything has to give them this experience of perceived value, and it's similar to us as providers' expectations. Like I said, I mean, we want the patients to expect this. We want to deliver quality care. We want people to leave and go, "Wow, that was a great experience. I really got a lot out of it. I never had a doctor talk to me that way. I've never had a doctor sit down and actually speak to me. I've never had a doctor give me a hug before." These are the things that differentiate yourself from traditional medicine. And if you're not doing these, that perceived value is not going to be there. And remember, they might come in, but if their experience value is not there, they're not going to come back. They're going to find someone else, or they're just going to say, "You know what? I'm not going to pay cash for that. That's not what I signed up for." So just remember, when you're building a cash-based business, you have to give them the value that they expect and want to give them that value. Be proud of the services that you're providing and make sure that you have your office asking them, sending out surveys to your clients saying, "How was your experience? Did you guys feel that the experience was good? Was the waiting room nice? Was there anything that we could do better for you?" These are the ways that you're going to get that value out of the experience, and the patients are going to keep coming back, and they're going to keep telling other patients to go into your clinic. Next slide. So the provider's transformation. This is one of the most important ones. Is freedom for you, transformation for them. This is an unbelievable. So like I said, I figured all of this out in my first year of residency. When I was there, I used that whole decision tree on it was something I thought of within 6 months of being in residency. I realized that traditional medicine was not for me. This was not what I signed up for. And like I said, I didn't practice in traditional medicine. I immediately got out and started doing concierge medicine, some functional concepts. But again, when you're in cash-based medicine, you can bounce around, you can move, you can pivot, you can innovate, you can do whatever you want in cash-based medicine. You're not worried about losing people or what your insurance contracts are telling you. They're going to have to keep sending you people regardless of what your interests are. So taking that insurance out, you no more, you don't have that audit anxiety. Did I just check a box that I really didn't do? Are they going to come back and audit me and I'm going to get in trouble because I checked a box that I spent 10 more minutes than I did? I mean, there's so much anxiety that comes in with insurance-based models. And when you don't have that, it just is such a relief. You have, like I said, ability to innovate, add new modalities, peptides, HRT, IVs, biologics, psychedelics. You have the flexibility to move, pivot, and jump into any areas of medicine that you think is going to improve your patient outcome. So revenue reflects value, not reimbursement limits. I mean, and that's exactly it. It's like we said on the last slide. I mean, this is all about value, and if you give them a value, they're going to pay the money. And then for the doctors, this is time to educate and practice what you preach. I learn something every day, every week. I learn from my patients. I learn on my own, but I'm doing this for myself as well. And so as a physician or provider moving into functional medicine, this is your opportunity to grow yourself, to utilize the tools, to utilize what you've learned, and to use these modalities on yourself. Because nothing is going to be a more powerful sales tool for you other than passion, and the passion is going to come from you doing all of these things on yourself. And like I use that comparison to someone going in to lose weight to talk to a provider that's 150 pounds overweight. That's not going to work. Now, this is where you can get excited about the model, the practice that you're in, and practice what you preach. And so that when people come in to see you, they immediately look and go, well, this person knows what they're looks like they know what they're doing. And immediately they got confidence. Remember, so now you have them in, you give them the perceived value, your office is clean, your staff is kind, they didn't have to wait, and now they have you in the room, they see you, they got their confidence, you know what you're talking about. Now, all it's going to take is the result part of it. And now we obviously have plenty of therapies that are going to be helpful. And we know that our blueprint in functional medicine is going to deliver. So now they're going to get the experience value and they're going to come back. And again, I mean, it's all on the delivery, the communication, and the way you set your practice up. Next slide. So how do you communicate this shift? And this is a tough one, and I've been going to age management conferences for years. I've spoken at them, and there are so many providers out there that want to jump in completely into functional medicine, but they just, year after year, we see them, they're like, well, I haven't got there yet, but I'm still interested. I'm still trying to figure out how I can make the shift because it's not easy. That is the hard part of this is that insurance gets you and that's the way they pay you. And to sit there and try to think about taking a drop in income to make this shift, a lot of people can't do that. They're already leveraged. They're already tied into their revenue or their income. They have they have bills, they have payments, and so it gets very difficult to kind of approach this whole shift in not just philosophy but into the whole practice model. And so the easy way to tell patients is when if you all of a sudden say, hey, I'm either opening up a functional medicine arm, a cash-based arm. So if you want IVs or you want HRT, it's through the other door on the other side of our building, or we do that through telehealth. They try to kind of get a hybrid model, or there's the ones that are lucky that they can just break free and just say, hey, we're switching to a cash-based model. This is the reasons why. And the reasons are this medicine best fits my personality. This medicine best fits my medical philosophy. And there's nothing wrong in saying that because patients understand that. They're not going to be disappointed if you're telling them the truth and you're being transparent. They understand. You can use your insurance for illness and us for wellness. That's one that we use all the time. In our office, we tell people, hey, you have insurance. Use your primary care doctor if you have a sinus infection, urinary tract infection, bronchitis, but use us to avoid getting those conditions by letting us help improve your health creation, prevent disease, get to root cause, try to educate on the importance of hormones and micronutrients and exercise and sleep and diet. That's what they use us for. And people are fine with that. So don't think that people will not use their insurance the way they need to and use you and pay cash as long as there's a perceived value. So you can tell them, I want to focus on health optimization and disease prevention. And you can tell them it's the same science. We're just applying it earlier and deeper. It's not that we're abandoning traditional medicine. It's just that we're integrating other types of philosophies to provide a better level of care. Insurance makes money on disease, not health. So again, understanding that and telling your patients that they get it. They understand that traditional medicine, insurance-based medicine is not making them healthier. It's only treating the disease once they have it and they react upon it and they finally go get help. But remember also in traditional medicine, it's so busy, a lot of people can't even get an office visit for 1 to 2 months after they call. They already know that they're already going to be well by that time. So now they can't even use their insurance because they can't get in a lot of cases. And so then they just don't do anything about it. So it's not that the system hasn't shown most of the consumers out there that there is a problem with traditional philosophies. It's just they don't know what to do. And remember also, less than 20%, I think it's like 16% of doctors are practicing functional medicine. That's not enough. So a lot of people out there, regardless of how much money they have or where they are in their journey in life, a lot of them don't even know this type of medicine exists or these types of opportunities exist. They just keep going through the traditional model and hoping that something's going to change, hoping that they get better when they have no idea that there's doctors out there that are fully all in on preventing disease and making them healthier and looking at all these different modalities to maximize vitality. So so this is where you have to start putting yourself out there, putting your name out there, telling your clients to bring people in and making sure that everyone knows what you do. The last one is every dollar spent on wellness equals a positive return on investment. You're going to see these numbers vary, but I've seen everything from $5 to $10. But remember, when they talk about what that return on investment is they can never put a value on time. So anything, this is what I love about what I do, is that anytime you make someone healthier, think about their value of time. Just think about their productivity, their time with their family, their time on taking vacations, the productivity at work. All of these things improve, and it's very hard to put a dollar amount on that. But you can't. But the price on time is priceless. So you can with very good data to support it, tell people for every dollar they spend on wellness, they are going to get a return on that investment. We just can't say exactly what that dollar return is. I usually kind of go in the middle at around $7, but that's still a great investment for everybody. Why cash wins? More time per patient. We obviously know that. Better outcomes and satisfaction. Freedom to innovate. Direct alignment of value and revenue. Increased purpose and fulfillment. And improved personal, mental, and physical health. And just remember, insurance wasn't, we didn't create insurance. Insurance was created for us. So when you're looking at cash, every other profession other than ours works on a cash model, fee for service. So here we are, and again, what was one of my big parts of leaving traditional medicine at the beginning was someone's managing my revenue. They're capping me, and then you sit there. You have personal trainers, accountants, nutritionists, psychologists, behavioralists, attorneys. Everyone out there is setting their fees and getting paid for their value. And here we are as providers. One of the most pristine occupations, and we're capped. We're stuck. We're just working our butts off trying to get paid, and we didn't create that environment. So there's nothing wrong with wanting to get out of it and getting out of it. And once you get out of it and you can start getting paid what your value is, if you want to work extra hours, you can get paid for that. If you want to bring in more modalities, you can get paid for that. So just understanding that the cash model is where we're supposed to be. We got brought into an insurance model that was designed to make money for everybody but the providers. It just makes us work harder, see patients, spend time with patients less, and obviously get stuck into the same model that the patients are. Most providers are in the same 80% of society's health. And that's the part when you start getting into functional medicine or integrative medicine, you start noticing, wow, these providers actually look really healthy. It's because they're in a model now that's supporting their mental and physical well-being. They're not being stressed out. They enjoy their occupation. They're practicing what they preach, and you can just see and I've actually watched providers that have made this transition. And sometimes it is the transition that makes them switch into cash-based medicine. It's that, like I said, they're wanting to get healthier. They go to a functional medicine doctor. Next thing you know, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel amazing. This is great medicine." And next thing you know, they wanna move into move their own philosophies into a non-traditional practice. So again, there's so many opportunities for you if you're already in functional medicine, how you can make your practice and how you can change your practice philosophies to be more enticing and to also keep your clients coming back, and also getting them to be your billboards or be your advocates out there, telling people that they got to come see you and build your practice up that way. So hopefully that gives some tips to everybody as far as at every level or every part of your journey. Because again, people that are trying to get into this type of medicine, it's really hard to make that jump. And for you guys that are already in cash-based medicine, you just have to keep pushing to making sure you're refining that model and you're checking in with your clients to make sure you're delivering that value that they're perceived. Next slide. So next, I'm going to have Jamie jump in. She's going to talk a little bit about MyPracticeConnect, which is a tool that we developed for our practice and is in a huge support for how we run our business.
Thanks, Dr. Agin. So yeah, my name is Jamie Tripp. I'm a nurse practitioner. I've been with Dr. Agin for 15 years now. He hired me right out of school. I got to learn functional medicine, and about a year into practicing, he asked me to take over the office manager role. So I said yes, but that means I need things to function very efficiently if I'm seeing patients and running the office. So that's where this platform comes in. I'll talk on it briefly because I know most of you are probably on it, but if you don't know about it, we created this platform ourselves for our own office to run more efficiently and to increase revenue. So this is basically like an Amazon for compounding pharmacies for wellness medicines. We have 14 different compounding pharmacies on there that we've used, we've vetted, so we know they're good, great value, great companies. And then we also have a regenerative medicine company on there, New Life Regenerative, where we get our exosomes and stem cells. And then we also have a medical supply company. So it's really nice. We log into one thing and we can see everything all in one portal. We can toggle between the pharmacies. So yeah, back in the day, we actually have been using this platform for about 8 years now, and this is our second rendition of it. So we're just keep making it better for our own selves and for you all to enjoy as well. But back in the day, you would, or even now, if you're not on the platform, you're still doing this, you're sending in scripts you're faxing to this pharmacy, you're logging into the life file. I believe they use this portal for this pharmacy, and it gets taxing to figure out, okay, who did I order what on and where did it go? Is it filled? Did we pay for it? This platform kind of eliminates all that. Everything is all in one spot, which really cuts down on a lot of different things. Patient satisfaction is one of them, and keeping them on track with their medications. And also, like, we do IV therapy in our office. So where do we source our IV nutrients from? That's where I come to this platform, and we can order everything here and track it. I'll let you go to the next slide, Casey. So I just want to touch on 3 of my favorite features of this platform. I kind of went over this slide already. So yes, my first one is prescription refill reminders. How many times in your clinic are patients being prescribed, say, a peptide sermorelin? It lasts a month, they need to refill it, but do they get lost? Do they remember to reach out to you to refill it? That's why we created in this platform, when we're putting in a prescription medication, we can select what date we want to set a reminder for. So how my clinic does it is we print out the platform will generate a report, whether you want it a week long, a day long, a month long. And it has everything you need to know about the patient, the prescription, the due date, and their contact info. So I have one of the girls at my front desk every week. She will print out this report and she will text these clients, hey, next week you're due for sermorelin. Do you want to refill it? And most of the time, these people are very appreciative that they get the notifications. We usually will keep a card on file. So they say, yes, we run their card. And then right in the system, we click a button and everything can remain the same, or you can edit it if you don't have any changes to their script, and it shoots it through. So even on some days where we're not as busy in the clinic, summer I know gets slow, you think you have a low revenue, we have all these refills reoccurring behind the scenes because I've set my staff up to do that. So that bumps your revenue, obviously, and it keeps the patient on track and feeling good because they're not a lapse in their medication. Next slide. The second thing I love is the shop products feature. This is huge. So we have the ability to toggle and see who offers what, at what price, at what strength. So say I'm looking for testosterone, for instance, I can type that into the search bar and it will show every pharmacy that has testosterone, whether it's oral, you can toggle it. Oh, I want an injectable form. You can see the price and you can see if it's in stock. So that is so nice. Like, we're used to ordering B12 from a pharmacy and they don't have it. Oh no, what are we going to do? Oh, I'll just see who else offers it and find another person who has it in stock, so we don't have to scramble and try to find a replacement. So that's a huge one we really love. And then last slide, Casey. Our next slide is communication. So many times in the past, we have had trouble communicating with pharmacies. Some of them, you got to call, you got to leave a message. Everything is communicated through the portal. So if we're writing, say, Joe Smith has a prescription for B12 and he hasn't received it yet, where is it? So I log into the portal, and right from the order, I send a message to the pharmacy. They communicate back, and we don't have to email, all those things. It's all in one central thing. That's the key here. And that just saves so much time. And another nice thing is my staff has logins for the program too, so they can see the messages as well. So if I don't tell, I have one staff that works remote out of the office, she can log in and see that, oh, this is the communication. And so she can and see where we all left off, which is really great. So yeah, those are my three main points I really love about the platform. It has a lot more features than that, but I just wanted to touch on those three things, as I feel they really contributed to making our office run more efficiently and increasing the revenue, especially that refill reminder section. And then next slide. And then coming soon, we have the consultation module. Dr. Agin's been working hard on this in the background, so I will let him speak to this.
Thank you. Yeah, and so just kind of jumping on top of what Jamie just said is, in cash-based medicine, one of the things that's very hard is managing the revenue. A lot of the providers out there that are jumping into cash-based medicine, they're missing out on opportunities to collect money. And in this business, when we don't have insurance, we have to make money. And that's the beautiful thing about this, is that we can do what we love, we can practice great money, and we can make a career in business out of it. So managing money is another reason why we made this, is because it really takes the revenue part of it and makes it so much easier. And for example, if I go in and see a patient, if I'm in that consultation, you can kind of look at this as that the one fee is going to be my time for the consultation. Now, if I prescribe Sermorelin and testosterone, those are going to be two more fees that are going to be added on. So if I prescribe those drugs, now, when that patient's done with the consultation, they're going to go out to the front desk and they're going to pay for the package that includes the consultation fee, and then they're going to pay for the cost of the prescriptions, which are also built into the program. And that in the application actually does the business, the money collection for you. So it's already going to take the cost of the drug that the pharmacy is going to be delivered to the pharmacy. It does that transaction and then already creates that business exchange. So now that patient already left, you got paid for your consultation, you got paid for the differences in the collection of the drugs, and you've just increased your value of that consultation by up to 50 to 100%. And so it just in itself, it just helps the management of the compounded pharmaceuticals and makes it so much easier. It doesn't matter if they're getting an infusion or if they're getting compounded pharmaceuticals. So it really does help on all different levels of integrating a cash-based model into your practice and trying to maximize your revenue collection. And obviously, the refills is by itself is that constant revenue generating. And when you're in cash-based medicine, remember, you're trying to get new clients in, and then the clients that you've already seen for up to 6 months to a year are just getting refills. If you've done your job and you get people to where they're feeling great, they're looking great, they're just going to be doing refills month after month after month, which allows this business to really scale. And we can talk about numbers. What is an expected value of a functional medicine office? What kind of your goal as far as where your revenue should be on a typical practice? These are things that we can talk about, but the opportunity obviously is very good if you can see how that model would work. You see new patients, they're going to be refilling medications when they're not even coming into the office, and that's how the revenue builds. So I want to talk really quick about the consultation model. This is something that we set up. We actually have utilized it. We've tried it. It works. And the whole idea of this, especially for people that are just getting in, I shouldn't say that. It's for anybody that's in functional medicine because I use it. This consultation module, just imagine us being able to send out questions to our clients. Whether you're asking them in person, you're asking them, one of your staff is asking them, or you send these questions to them via email or text. They answer these questions for various modalities, whether it be weight management, HRT, sexual health, cognitive health, psychedelics. You ask them questions, they fill out the questionnaire, and when those questions come back, that's already pre-populating your subjective on your notes. So now this is helping create your notes. It's also giving you talking points for the client. It identifies contraindications. For example, if you send out a questionnaire on weight management, you're going to ask the questions about GLP-1s. Is there any history of thyromedullary cancer? Any history of MEN syndrome? Do you have a history of eating disorders? For some of the other therapies, it's going to be the same. So this questionnaire is going to pull out the contraindications and they're going to be highlighted for you. So as soon as you get on, you're going to see, oh, hey, this person is not a candidate for GLP-1s. Or for instance, someone that wants Viagra or Cialis, but they're on a nitrate. This is going to pull these contraindications out and allow you to practice safer, but also get organized because these questions also start building your notes. And so as your notes being built, there's also provider insights. And so as you're going down this, if someone picks GLP-1s and they want weight loss, there's going to be insights that pop out and basically say, hey, you can ask them this, how is your diet? How is your sleep? How is your exercise? If you ask those questions and you check them, those get thrown into your notes as well. So it documents that you asked these questions and then what their responses were. So it's just a really nice tool for providers, especially ones that are getting started, because it improves your efficiency, but it also helps educate you as you're going. So you're getting tips and you're learning what these responses are, what the contraindications are. And as you start using these insights, it starts being, second nature for you to be able to just ask these questions and even when you're seeing them face to face. But it's a really powerful tool because you can do this you can do this through telehealth. You can do this if you're doing mobile medicine, or you can do this in your office. But it really streamlines the whole process and also gives therapy suggestions. So if people are answering these questions and they say that they're having problems with erections, or they're having problems with sleep, they're having problems with hot sweat or night sweats, these things are going to pull out therapy suggestions based off of their responses, saying, hey, have you gotten any labs on them? Hey, have you tried any of the GLP-1 peptides? Have you tried, are they on an eating strategy? So it's just going to really help make you seem smarter as you start learning this type of medicine. So you're not stuck trying to figure out questions to ask in various therapies that might be effective or available for them. So like I said, this is something we've already tried. We're refining it and improving the way it works. And this will be out in January of 2026. And we're very excited for everybody to be using this, especially people that are wanting to use MPC kind of as their EMR completely. So if there's any questions on that, we can talk about that at the end as well.
All right, and we did have a question, so I answered it in the chat that when the consultation module rolls out, we will have the ability to offer that to you as an EMR, as well as you can have an account with us through Go High Level for your CRM. So more details have to be worked out on that, of course, but we will be sharing that as we go along, so stay tuned. All right, is this me or you, Jamie? This is me? All right. So I have a couple slides here. Stephen Villagomez and I, Stephen is an affiliate and trusted partner with a sister company as well as MPC. And so we've spent the last couple of years really trying to figure out what works in social media. Because as you know, with functional medicine, a lot of words get banned and blocked on all of the different social media platforms. And we have tried and tested a lot of them and found out how best to kind of grow our business. So we have we don't have a lot of time to go over all of everything we'd like to present, but if you comment resource in the chat, we will take your name and we will send you a much broader list of tips that we've come up with. But just wanted to let you know that when you do join MPC, we have the ability to provide you with a lot of marketing materials, as you can see on the right, that's already done for you. And then you can literally have these to post. You can add your own words, your brands in your bio and whatnot. So that's one way we can help you grow your business. It also will attract new patients as you use social media. And I think that's one of the things that we found is that when you use social media right, and we tried a million different ways, you can grow your business. And one of the things, and I think Steven's on here, he can talk to this, but what we found was the golden ticket was offering a free resource on a certain topic. If you commented or DM'd them, resource, or if you DM them, NAD or whatever in there, then we would send a note back saying, hey, provide your email. I'm going to send it to you. Then that email becomes what we call gold, because now you have a lead. You have somebody that's interested in what you're saying. And now you can use that in your CRM. You can use that in an email list if you're just getting started and you don't have a CRM. And then you can start sending out emails to them. You can also develop a relationship with them on your social media. And many of you might say, I don't have a lot of time to do that. For instance, Dr. Agin does not have a lot of time to be on social media. So we have people that do that for our brand, and we get in there. Steven's been a great advocate for this. He spends a lot of time going through, but you hit one video. I mean, Steven, do you want to talk about, like, you've had a huge blow up and your followers keep building day after day, but it is a bit of a long game because you have to establish credibility.
It is a long game, and sorry, I'm not on camera. I'm just in the meeting. Is that it's an interesting concept for me to try to explain in a short time, and I'm happy to go over this with people in the long run. Is you have to stay consistent with your messaging, and in Shelley, you kind of hit this out of the park too. The second you try to sell somebody this, they're going to run away from you. They want to be educated first. People want to know why you want them to take this, and people want if they're looking at if they find you on some feed and there's something that they like about what you're saying, you give them the golden ticket of more information, and then they will never go. And you educate them. You educate them to know why you're recommending these things without selling them anything. And when you do that consistently, it will grow. My LinkedIn has grown by thousands, TikTok thousands. And I'm not there selling, hey, come here and buy this. All I'm saying is, hey, let me teach you something about this. And when you take that kind of perspective when it comes to this type of medicine, sky's the limit. And giving them free information, comment here, say this. Anybody who does a video on a peptide or an HRT or a nutrient injection, just say, comment this, and I'll send you a PDF. And that you educate them more and more, and then it's a very, very easy sell when they come to you being, I'm ready. So
right. I'm sorry, Steven. I was saying, by being part of our NPC network, we are there to help you with that. So we can help you. If you say, oh my gosh, I need an NAD thing. Well, you can see as we put in the slideshow, we've made that for you. If you have something unique, I mean, Steven and myself, Casey, Sarah, we're going to be here to help you create what you need, because potentially we already have it. If we can roll to the next slide. And then really, I want to spend the most of the time on the last slide for me. But we do have, like I said, ready to use marketing materials and content templates. We will help promote your practices, services, and brand consistency by giving you a branded look that all you have to do is put your logo on it. So we have both provider resources and patient resources as well. And then the next slide, Casey, really talks about, I mean, Steven and I brought this down to just 5 things, and I think we've said a couple of them. But if you look, show up and stay seen, that was a big one that Steven says, really posting. And again, we'll put this in our resources if you want, make sure you put your name down in the chat. But when you have the consistency, you will build over the long term. And there's different packages that you can get. Notion, for example, can be like a little calendar for you, but you can also use your own calendar or create a Google calendar, but we can help you give you some tips on that. Also, recycling your information. After 2 weeks, your information can be recycled. So, for instance, if you have a video or a post that says, try NAD today, well, in 2 weeks, you could have it say something completely different, but still use that same information. It is going to still get into that algorithm. And for those of you that don't know a lot about this, we've also learned that the algorithm is key, and it seems to be the god of all of the different platforms, and they all do it a little differently. So it can sound intimidating, but again, we're here to answer your questions and help you with what we've learned as well. Because it doesn't always mean you have to have 1 million followers to have a successful business. We don't have 1 million followers because we don't want to spend millions of dollars to get them. But we have definitely seen an uptick in our revenue by doing what we have done in the last couple of years for, I would say, a shoestring budget. We have taken every attempt at making sure that we can do this right without spending a lot of money. And so a lot of it is personal videos. These short form videos are great. But again, 80% of what you should be doing is educating and only 20% selling. So again, you want to build credibility with your audience. We have a lot of videos. We have a lot of things that you can even cross post with us, which is also a super great way to build your algorithm, is by taking somebody's information that you trust and reposting it, and then and saying, hey, I'm going to post something. Will you repost mine? So it's a collaborative event here. You really do need to find some people you trust, maybe find an influencer, maybe somebody you know is using peptides, and just ask them to be a part of what you're doing. And maybe you can offer them some product for free or at cost, or figure out a way to compensate them so it's a win-win. And then again, I think our biggest find in the last 2 years was basically offering that free resource in exchange for their email. Because then what we start to see is loyalty. If they're willing to give you their email, then they're willing to kind of make a longer term commitment with you. And then when you start to get touch bases with them, if you have a newsletter, if you send out a weekly update, if you put information out on your social media, these people are seeing it, and they may not buy the first time or the second time, but the average it takes to touch anybody and to get them to convert is 7 to 12 times across the industry. But with telehealth and functional medicine, they have found that it's taking 12 to 20, because first of all, they have to go from the mind shift, like Dr. Agin was talking about this whole time, going from insurance based to cash based, and I'm owning my own health. Then they have to understand, do I trust you? Are you really saying what's reaching me, but is it also legit? Because there's a lot of people out there that are doing things kind of nefariously. So you really want to have that credibility with your clients. So even having, if you've got 5 or 10 clients that are even willing to always like what you're doing or cross post it for you, you're going to be able to build that long game where you're going to get more and more people. But one of your videos or one of your things randomly go viral, they get a lot of attention, you're going to start to see more and more people following you quickly. But also, if you just continue to just keep something going, and again, we offer a lot of free things that you're going to be able to take advantage of, so you're not recreating the wheel on your own, and start building slowly and getting those touch points. And I think the last thing I want to say before Stephen might want to say something else, because I've taken the whole talk time, but also Stephen has done an amazing job of getting in there and commenting and answering questions or comments or liking other people's comments, and really kind of getting into talking and developing relationships, so that they feel like they're being heard, their questions are being answered. And Stephen, anything else you can think of? He may have had to jump. He had to leave at 2:30 exactly. So go ahead and hit the next slide, Casey. All right, so this is really just the end of our webinar. We want to make sure that you are aware of our trainings. Dr. Agin has trainings on our Teachable website. You can see it there. We'll send it out in our recap. Just for this group, we are offering 25% off of any of our trainings, which actually were just launched on our website with different pricing. So you're going to get really good pricing on that. I would recommend that you go in here and take a look at them. You can see IV therapy, peptide, weight loss, HRT. You can also get CMEs. So if you're looking to get your CMEs in any one of your functionalities, you can come on to our site, and for $395, we can get you started basically to get 20 CMEs for that price. And what happens is you get logged into a year-long database, and then as you pull out articles, you download them, it earns you half of a credit. And so we can actually suggest which ones you would want to read if you're trying to get into functional medicine. I mean, there's millions of articles, so we'd be happy to help guide you and make sure that you're getting ones that really will help grow your own knowledge base. Next slide is I believe on our platform. So we've talked about the platform. Many of you are on our platform. However, for those of you who may be just new to our entire company, we are a DEA certified ERX system. That means you can order controlled substances without having to sign it manually and then faxing it over. We're compliant and secure. All of your ordering is in one platform, which is a really cool way to streamline it. You don't have to have 10 logins and try to remember where Jenny got her, her Samoralin. You can have it all inside here. It's direct to patient shipping. So you don't have to keep anything in your office. You basically log in, put your order in, put your patient's information in, it ships directly to them. You get the price the platform where you pay the pharmacy, but then you've already collected the money on your own payment processing system for it. So you're basically like we said, it's Amazon, but it's wholesale to you, and then you sell it retail to your client. And then, you saw the prescription tracking. We have the transparency from order to delivery. We put the tracking information in there. The refill minders is another great way to just earn that extra revenue, having somebody on point for that each week. And then just understanding that it's one platform for a multitude of things that you do in your office, so you can spend more time with your patients and less time in the admin world. And I think, is that our last slide, Casey? I think, yep, it is. So any question, and we're running a little over, but if you have any questions, please feel free to put that in there. If you want more information about the trainings, put training in the chat. If you want more information about the platform, put demo in the chat. And then we'll also have a way for you to sign up for any of that and some clickable links on our email recap. Anything else, Brent?
No, just get started. That's the name of the game. That's what we're here for. We have really neat medical support for people that do our trainings. That's a way that we can kind of help you guys when you need it, because you guys are going to come across patients that are a little confusing. You might have some questions. You might not have the confidence to approach some of these clients. That's what we're here for. And after a while, you start to realize, okay, I'm thinking through this right, and you get that confidence that you need. And again, I tell everyone, please practice this all on yourself, but it is very easy to get started doing. Every client that comes into your office and that you see is a potential client for functional medicine. You can start them off on something. They either need to lose weight, improve their cognition, improve their sexual health, improve their lean muscle mass. There's something you can do for every single client. And once you start recognizing that, it's going to be very smooth. But you just have to start out with some family members, start out with some friends of yours that aren't doing any of these various forms of functional medicine, and just get started, because it only takes one client. And once you get that confidence and that client comes back saying, oh my gosh, I feel great. Oh, I can't thank you so much. I look better. I feel better. I'm getting compliments. And you're going to start to really start gaining some momentum. And then it's the practice will grow very quickly from there. But too many doctors get trained or listen to these webinars, but just don't pull the trigger in getting started. And that's what I suggest, is just get started. Even people getting some B12 shots offering them in your office to your staff. Start doing some small infusion, just a Myers cocktail. Get a couple people in the office started on some of these peptides or on HRT. Anything that you're trying to bring in, just get someone in the office started on it or get it started on yourself or some of your loved ones or friends.
Awesome. All right. Well, when we send out the recap, we will also have our next series. We have 3 or 4 months already planned out, so you can register for those right away as well. Thank you for attending, everybody, and I appreciate it. Send us questions if you have them.